This chess player has made it to the Grandmaster title at the age of just 12. And at the age of 20, he is now the contender for the chess crown and the sole winner of the Candidates Tournament 2026. I'm talking about Javokhir Sindarov, and today, ladies and gentlemen, I will tell you the story of Javokhir. I will tell you the story of how he rose to his current fame, the ups and downs that he came through, and some fun facts that you probably have never heard about him, because I've analyzed lots of interviews by him both in English and in Russian, and some in Uzbek language as well. I don't speak it, but I use translators. So let's dive into this. So first of all, Javokhir Sindarov was born in Uzbekistan, and he started playing chess at the age of 4, which is, well, symptomatic for the current age. Previously, like in the 20th century, for example, there used to be some great players who started learning and playing chess at the age of like 10, 12, even 14. Players who became top players. Now, Javokhir at the age of 12 already made it to GM and had an existential crisis. I will tell you about this later. So yeah, the times, they are a-changing, as Bob Dylan said. Javokhir immediately got involved in chess tournaments. He was not a casual chess player, and this is very important, an important fact about him. He says in interviews that he really likes winning, and he tries to play for a win in every game, whether it is cards, domino, video games, Counter-Strike, etc., etc. This is a very important quality that separates some top players that become champions and other talented players who don't become champions. For example, Levon Aronian, in a podcast episode with me a couple of years ago, we spoke, and he said, when I'm winning, I get bored. I don't have enough killer instinct to finish off the job. Usually I do, but sometimes I don't, and this is not good for my performances. This is what the great Levon Aronian said, who used to be 2800, and he's still very strong. But he probably has not as much killer instinct as Sindarov, and this killer instinct is now very, very much seen. So he immediately started winning tournaments, some child tournaments under 7 years old. For example, he won the under 7 Asian School Chess Championship in 2012. And he has a brother. He has actually 3 younger brothers, which also I think is an important point. I also have siblings, younger siblings, and I know that this makes you more responsible. This puts extra pressure on you if you are the oldest, and he is. So probably that influenced also his path. And his younger brother, Islombek, played chess as well, and still plays, I think, but he did not reach the heights that Javokhir reached. But still, in 2014, Javokhir and Islombek both won gold medals at the World School Chess Championship in Rapid and Blitz. Javokhir won in under 9 and Islombek won in the under 7 category. So yeah, chess family. And in Uzbekistan currently there's a chess boom, and I live in Kazakhstan. It's also close, neighboring country. In Kazakhstan also there is a chess boom. Obviously, it's a very exciting time here in Central Asia for chess players. And this started in those times already. There is another guy from Uzbekistan whom you may have heard about. Maybe you've seen my podcast episode with him. Nodirbek Abdusatorov. He's currently world number 4, and Sindarov is currently world number 5 in the current ratings. So they are this close and competing, obviously. Two guys of similar age. I think Nodirbek is 1 year older than Javokhir, and in that very year, when Javokhir won the World School Chess Championship in under 9, he made his debut in the World Junior Chess Championship. And the second place in that championship was taken by Nodirbek Abdusatorov. And Javokhir finished 9th. So this is where the rivalry kind of started. They are friends, but they are also obviously competitors. You will see this plot line, this storyline continue. So Javokhir worked a lot on chess, he said. He worked a lot, and he made the IM title, International Master, while being just 11, which is not record-breaking, but very close to it. And then at just 12 years old, he became a Grandmaster, one of the youngest in history of the game. At that moment, he was the second youngest to do so, and the first youngest in Asia. Later on, by the way, within half a year this record was broken by none other than Gukesh Domaraju, who is like a bit younger, also like half a year younger than Javokhir. We will talk about Gukesh as well. And then when he made the GM norm, he said in his interviews that he felt like emptiness and he lost motivation, and he started playing lots and lots and lots of hours of video games, in particular Counter-Strike, which he got quite good at, which proves the point that he is good at learning things, he is very ambitious, and he has this ability, this killer instinct. This helps him in lots of games, so he could have become a professional esports player, which he did, by the way. He signed with the Vitality esports team, but as a chess player, not as a Counter-Strike player. So, but there was this period of time, you know, this happens with some notable winners of Olympiads, for example, like Michael Phelps, the swimmer, legend, the goat of swimming. He said that he had suicidal thoughts after winning some Olympiads because he didn't know what to do next. He achieved everything, and probably not as horrible, but something like that could be felt even by a junior chess player when he achieves his dream, 12 years old, grandmaster, and he stopped. He said, I stopped playing chess whatsoever. And then probably if he continued playing Counter-Strike, we would be talking about the legend of the Counter-Strike game, Javokhir Sindarov, right now, but we're talking about the legend of chess. And during the pandemic, somehow he rekindled his passion for chess, and he started working on it more and more and more. Probably they found some nice coaches as well, because in Uzbekistan there is lots of state support for this, and it's very important, obviously, for the success of chess in the country, just like in Kazakhstan. So he started working on chess again, and the results, oh boy, the results show. So he qualified for the World Cup, Chess World Cup 2021, and there, being just 15 years old and being ranked number 121, he caused a major upset. He defeated Alireza Firouzja. At that time, Alireza was close to his prime already. He was one of the top seeds in the event. He was already nearing 2800 on the trajectory to his record as the youngest ever 2800. Still not broken, I think. But Alireza got defeated. I checked the games. In tie breaks, Alireza lost. There was this fascinating game in this King's Indian defense, very aggressive playing style by Sindarov, very, very impressive, and lots of people learned about him and learned his name after this victory. He then made it to the final 32 players in that event, but he got knocked out, but he was still very young. And then his trajectory continued, because in 2022, some historic stuff happened for Uzbekistan. Uzbekistan's team has won the Chess Olympiad. First time ever in the history of the game, and this was one of the youngest teams. And he was the youngest member of this team. Most of the team members were teenagers. Nodirbek Abdusatorov was board 1, and Javokhir Sindarov was board 3, he was just 16. And he became a winner of the Olympiad. I think a similar achievement can be boasted of by Vladimir Kramnik, because 1992, the Olympiad that Russia won soon after the collapse of the Soviet Union, Kramnik was on the team and he was 16. Garry Kasparov had to put his foot down, as they say, right? And say, I need this guy, this youngster needs to be on our team, and they won. So Kasparov was right about Kramnik, and later Kramnik dethroned him. So Sindarov, in that aspect, has probably broken another record or done something close to this. They won the Olympiad. The government of Uzbekistan gave every player of the team a huge, luxurious car, SUV, some black Chinese SUVs, expensive stuff. They gave some money, and they showered the team with gratitude, rightfully earned, obviously. After this, you could say, like, well, what comes next? Upwards trajectory all the time? No, not at all. After that, for some time, the upwards trajectory continued. For example, in the Chess World Cup 2023, Sindarov again made waves. He again made a huge upset, knocking out one of the top seeds, Maxim Vashelograf, another guest of my podcast, by the way. Sensationally, because Maxim has been over 2800 rated in classical and in other formats as well. And then he got knocked out, Sindarov got knocked out by Arjun Regaisi. Obviously Arjun is very strong, and already at that time he's older, so he was more experienced and stronger at that time. And then Sindarov went to play the Grand Swiss, and actually this is still 2023, and actually he could have qualified to the candidates tournament back then in 2023. So the candidates took place in 2024, but the qualification process was in 2023. He could have gotten there 2 years earlier. I wonder what would have happened. Maybe maybe another sensation. Maybe he would be already now the reigning world chess champion instead of Gukesh. We don't know, but probably he was not as strong back then. But he was close to qualification. He was in the pack of leaders in the Grand Swiss, and as you probably know, 2 top finishers of the Grand Swiss get the qualification ticket to the candidates tournament. But in round 8, I think, he faced round 7. He faced Vidit Gujarati, and Vidit was on a roll in that tournament. Vidit lost the first game, round 1, and then he won like almost all other games. He like was on a winning spree, and Javokhir was one of the victims. So had Vidit like not slept well on that night, who knows how chess history would have unfolded. But Javokhir finished 8th in the FIDE Grand Swiss tournament. Close, but not number 1, not number 2. Number 1 was Vidit, number 2 was Hikaru Nakamura, if I'm not mistaken, in that one. And they qualified for the candidates in 2024. And that candidates tournament was won, obviously, by none other than Gukesh Domarajo. And after that Grand Swiss, Javokhir crossed 2700. End of 2023, he's already crossed 2700. And then something happened, again, like with the GM title. So he reached the GM title, he had an existential crisis. He reached the Super GM title, which is the name for people who have crossed 2700. And then again, something happened, and he dropped out of this top echelon of chess until 2025. 2 years he spent gathering his forces, learning about chess more and more and more. And he played some events, he studied a lot, and he improved. Slowly, gradually he improved. He gained some rating points, and at the beginning of 2025, he already was back to the 2700 club. But what's more important is the fact that he got a new coach. And the name of this coach is Roman Vidonyak, a Ukrainian master. He's not even a grandmaster, he's a master. But he is one of the most professional, one of the best chess coaches in the world right now. And one of the most, probably the most hyped chess coach in the world right now. Because he coached not just Javokhir. He also coached, for example, Vladimir Fedoseev, guest of my podcast, who broke into the top of the top after working with Vidonyak. He coached, probably still coaches, Jordan Van Forest, another guest of my podcast, who's also top 15 in the world currently. He said that Roman Vidonyak, in one of his interviews, he said that his goal is to have like at least 3 people in top 5 being his students. That's a nice lofty goal. Now he already has 1 student. There Javokhir is currently top 5 in the world, but we will see. Also, his student is Bibisara Asubaeva, who finished 2nd in the women's candidates tournament, and who is the girlfriend of Javokhir Sindarov. So this is nice intersection of 2 worlds. So I don't know whether they train together sometimes with Vidonyak or not, but if so, this is an opportunity to spend some quality time together over a chessboard. But I don't know. I will have to ask both of them on the podcast about whether they like separate the personal life from the chess life. So Vidonyak helped immensely, and what Vidonyak said really impressed me about the trajectory of Sindarov. He said that Sindarov is a well-rounded universal player, and he has incredible potential that is yet to be fully realized. And he said that winning the candidates is just step 1. Step 2 will be winning the World Chess Championship match against Gukesh. Then step 3 will be crossing 2800. Maybe he will cross this even before the match, we don't know. Maybe during the match, who knows. And then step 4 will be to dominate for years and years to come, like Karpov and Kasparov did. This is an incredible goal, like Karpov, Kasparov, and Magnus, obviously. So these are the role models. And he says Javokhir still needs to learn a lot. And Roman Vidonyak has this sophisticated system. He has 17 different skills that chess players have to have at the top. I looked at all his available interviews in all languages that I know. In German, I speak German, ich spreche Deutsch. In English, in Russian as well. I gathered some bits and pieces. For example, I found out that one of the skills out of the 17 is the resilience under duress, under stress. And this is very important, not just for super GMs, obviously, at my level as well. And there were several other skills that he mentioned, but he didn't give the full list. I hope I can record a podcast with Mr. Vidonyak and ask him in detail about this. But this is so interesting. So he says, this guy is not ready yet for greatness. He's very good. He's very good, 27-70 or something like this. Yes, but next step will be winning the match. But this is just step 2. We need to make 4 steps. I really like this ambition. Drop a comment if you are impressed by this. So yeah, this is just the beginning of the career of Javokhir Sindarov, if we believe the words of his coach, and I tend to believe the words of such an acclaimed coach. And in 2025, let me just finish the timeline of events. Javokhir won practically all events he participated in, with the exception of some events where, for example, he played at the freestyle chess tour, and he did really well. He was a last-minute replacement, I think, and then he defeated Magnus a couple of times. He was constantly among the top finishers, and he played on par with Magnus, which is also an important storyline for future, I think, because they will be facing each other in many events to come, and I'm sure there will be extra motivation for Magnus because of this. Because you know what, I was watching Magnus's interview at the Grand Chess Festival while the candidates was in full swing, and Magnus was asked about Sindarov, what does he make of this phenomenal performance, and he says, you know what, my wife came to me and asked me whether I personally did something as spectacular back then when I was competing at the candidates, something like that, and I said admittedly no. And I'm like, okay, Magnus is angry and he needs to prove something because his wife even questioned him, and he did not look happy about this. That's my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong, but we will see. So yeah, and Sindarov had a fantastic 2025, and at the end of it, he won the World Cup convincingly. He defeated lots of strong players, qualified for the candidates, and then he won the candidates with a round to spare, with 10 out of 14 points, which is a record-breaking performance. And yeah, everybody now says that he is the guy who will take the throne from Gukesh. But you know what? Chess history is full of ups and downs. And as I showed you with Sindarov, also he had those ups and downs. So maybe he will have a down streak. Who knows? Maybe Gukesh will have an up streak. I will not be the guy who says that Gukesh is doomed. No. But I'm very much looking forward to further enjoying the chess development of Javokhir Sindarov and of Damaraja Gukesh. And whom do you support in this fight? Please drop a comment and don't forget to hit the like button if you like this video. See you in the next one. Bye bye.